Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can see behind me, we are rather festive, which means this is a decorate with me. Everything in my house is already done, but I want to show you exactly how I turned my house into a haunted woods theme. I also got a little something special in this box to help me make that happen, especially over at my coffee bar. But I'll explain it all to you whenever we get to that point. So sit back, relax, grab a mug of coffee or hot chocolate, and let's get to it. This year I wanted to completely redo the entire kitchen, which is what I'm doing here. I actually flip-flopped a lot of things on the countertops, and it actually flows a lot better. So that's what I was doing here. I also decided to completely change out the containers for my cooking spoons, which is what I'm doing here, into something that is a lot more controlled and contained and doesn't spread out as much. And the cauldron that originally held those spoons now holds the pot holders and oven mitts and aprons that I have, which I have several. This is also my grab-and-go snack bowl of mine, and then this is also how I decided to place my main cooking spoon on that coffin utensil holder. These cauldrons are actually my snack cauldrons. That's where I have a lot of my candy from. And that's also where I'm going to be placing these boots. So I never really go in with a plan with this. I just grab a lot of random stuff that I have from a couple years. This is for a bit from spring as well as autumn. In the final decor, this looks not completely, but at least a tad different. This is I just stand back and I fiddle with it a lot until it looks the way I want it to. And then I just place it and I continue to fiddle with it. Again, I fiddle with a lot of things. Here, I Mod Podge sprayed the bejesus out of this garland. It was covered in glitter. I could smell the Mod Podge spray for days after this. And I did it because of this right here. I actually wove my leaf garland with the thorny garland. And then after I did that, I wove in the orange lights. Let me tell you folks, this saved me so much time this year. It's not even funny. Because it would only take me half an hour to get garland up the way I want to. Instead, this process, and I even had it fully filled out and timed, took about 6 minutes to do, instead of half hour of frustration and dropping things on me. Now, this garland doesn't have anything else woven into it. I don't have an easy access to a light socket there where I wouldn't have something hanging down. Now, talk about a lot of glitter. I did not realize how much glitter was on this until you could probably see it looks like a bunch of black stuff is falling all over my countertops. That's exactly what's happening. So as I'm fiddling with that, wiping it up, putting it on a paper plate, doing this again, trying to not get glitter everywhere, and failing miserably. I did hang these up. Glitter has not fallen, miraculously, even when I've turned these on and off. So I also tried to hang it up there in that little connection point. It did not stay, folks. I decided to take that down. Here, I just felt like I needed to add something else, like something was missing. So I thought creepy cloth would be the best way to handle that. And the lovely thing about creepy cloth is that you can move it around as much as you need and make it fit to your desire, which is pretty much what I did here for quite a while. This was a simple change out of a wreath. So that was my spring wreath. This is a black moon wicker wreath. I think I picked it up from Spirit Halloween last year or maybe 2 years ago. Just plain and simple. This was more difficult than it should have been just because I didn't do this correctly. So I thought I was going to try to wrap the lights around this while it was laying there. That did not work at all. So I just laid it across the countertop and I just wove it around as best as I could. Trying to get as much coverage. That is a purple. It doesn't look as purple as my other purple lights that I have. And then I'm trying to figure out what to set next to it. And I finally settled on those pumpkins. And here is my kitchen. So you already see me do the kitchen. Up next is the coffee bar. But before we get into that, I would actually like to talk about and thank Rose Forever for sending me a lovely box of roses that I could use on my coffee bar for decor. So Rose Forever, it is a company based out of New York. They've been in business since 2019. So these are natural roses that are picked, placed in these boxes, and they are treated with natural oils, so they will last for a year. And I've had this for a little while now, and it's still exquisite. So you can pick several other colors that you want. I picked black because what else, folks? But they are very soft, love it, very pretty. I had a very interesting design to go along with this. You'll notice that this box is black velvet. Now, their black velvet, as well as their pink suede, and everything that goes into making this box is vegan. There are also several color of roses for you to choose from. I actually had a hard time picking on whether I wanted to do orange instead, because that is an option. Orange, blue, red, white, pink, take your pick. It's so easy to do. You can just go on their website and just check out what they have. They have several different number of roses that you can choose from as well to put in your box. I requested 16. And it fits perfectly in my design. And I'll show you how I actually did that in the midst of the decorate with me, because I actually went through several iterations of how I wanted to decorate this before I finally decided on which one I was going to choose. So not only did Rose Forever send me these amazing roses to show to you all, but they also were kind enough to give me a discount code to also give you. So I will link everything down below, but if you go to their website and shop and buy anything, if you use the code NYX25, you will get $25 off your purchase. And that is valid 30 days from the day that I post this video. So I know we are still in spooky season, and I know for some people it's painful to think about the holidays already. But if you're wanting to get something very nice for that special someone or your parents or anybody or for any reason at all, you might want to use that discount code. So with that, let's check out the coffee bar. So I went into this without much of a plan at all. I started by putting up some black creepy cloth, and then I added some green creepy cloth to go along with it, kind of mix and match the forest haunted woods vibe. These lights I had from last year. The only thing I did different this year is I hung them up better. I was actually able to weave the connecting socket underneath the creepy cloth. Now these are some dried herbs that look like mini pumpkins that I grabbed from last year at a farmer's market, just let it dry. And this is where I just start playing around. I knew that the cauldron cookie jar was going to be there, but everything else I didn't know. And at one point, this does end up backing out where I decide to completely redo everything. There we go. So I actually switched where my Nespresso was going to be. And I figured, okay, as soon as I go from there, put everything on the left, the French press is on the right, let's fill in the spaces. So I have candles, all of my actual tea jars, and will soon be coffee jars as well, and then the makeshift ones I have, and I'm just filling in the spaces as best as I can, trying to figure out what could work, what might not work. That's pretty much what the entirety of the decor was this year. Some little graveyard dirt, some jars that I picked up from, I think that one's from At Home, the green skull one. And of course the skeleton ham with the frog. I will do this again later, actually in this video, where I decided to do it a little bit differently. This is where I hung some fake spider webs, and this was fiddly as could be. So I'm trying my best that I can with this to make it as covered as possible. And then I'm just filling in the empty spots with some green moss from Michael's, just to kind of give it that overgrown look a little bit. And here is some hanging wall art from Joann's that I did not film putting up because that was an ordeal. Sorry. Since I went through several iterations of how I wanted to decorate the Rose Forever roses, I'm going to show you exactly what I did. So, my entire concept was to have this look like the haunted forest itself was coming into the witch's apothecary in her little cottage, which pretty much matches the rest of the decor around here, since it's rather kind of covered in foliage and spider webs and everything. So this is from Michael's. I just tore bits of it off of the long strand of flowers or foliage that you could get, and I just decided to have that as like a mossy area to put up top. And then also from Michael's, I believe a year or two ago, I got this guy. And I might need to fix him. Give me a moment. So I have this skeleton fairy, for lack of a better term, sitting in the middle of the moss. And I have this skull candle that I just tried to place ever so right there. And then I just wanted to surround the bottom of stuff. So I had my dragon's blood potions ingredient jar. I made these several years ago. I have several of them. And then of course I have my skeleton hand and a frog, because what witch wouldn't have a frog? And that is how I decorated the Rose Forever box. For the dining table, the only thing I really focused on were the cauldrons this year. So besides that, I just wanted to fill the space around it. So I started off with the spiderweb table runner, my candelabra, those skull pillar candles, and I'm just putting everything on the table to see what I have to work with, because I know I want to use some potion ingredients bottles just spaced around. Now the skull taper candles were too thin to fit inside my candelabra, so I decided to fill the base with some sand to give it some sturdiness. It still wants to fall over, but that's okay. We do the best that we can. Then I believe I added some trees that I had from last year. Those do light up orange. And I'm just filling the space to see what will work best, what potion ingredients. I have some small little cauldrons that I put some lights in. These lights I filled with some little purple fairy lights, and I just had some pillow stuffing that I had laying around that I just filled on top of that to make it look like a smoking cauldron as best as I could. I probably could have used less stuffing in there, hindsight 2020, but I'm still fiddling with it as best as I can. And here we go. Now lastly, we have my bar. So here, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Theme here, right? So first started with my little creepy guy from Bath and Body Works from last year. Put a jar on top of that first, and then I decided let's do something asymmetrical. And that's just kind of where this went. Anything potion, kind of creepy looking, whatnot, cauldrons, you name it, I added it. Not a lot of space, but I think I utilized it as best as I could. And that's how I turned at least part of my house into a haunted woods theme. So to see the rest of the house, which would include the living room, guest bath, the front hallway, my standing desk, and I think that's it. Yeah, to see the rest of the house, stay tuned. I'll have another video coming to you very, very soon. Also, thanks again to Rose Forever for sending me that lovely, lovely box of roses for me to use on my coffee bar. Remember, I have all the links and codes down in the bottom for you. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. And remember to go after whatever your dark heart desires. See ya.